What if I told you that 90% of the marriage advice you're following is actually destroying your chances to get her back? I know this because I used to give that same exact advice to couples for years as a licensed therapist. But here's what changed everything after I discovered this one intuitive method that I'm about to share with you today. I saved well over 100 times more marriages in the last 3 years than I did in my entire career as a licensed therapist. Of course, I have more help now too, but check it out.
We hold hands, we talk, she engages me, she'll send me messages. So our little pet names, she finally started calling me Mr. C again. We sleep together, we've had intimacy together.
I had been hit with the divorce word, I'd heard it a couple of times before in our relationship, but this time it was serious. And we created this incredible connection that night. It was awesome. We made love. We woke up the next day and everything was great. We did chores around the house together. We made dinner together with the kids.
We've just booked a trip to take our family to Cancun next summer to renew our vows.
This is the person that I married. This is the person that I fell in love with. So it wasn't just him getting me back, it was me getting him back too.
In the next few minutes, you'll know exactly which skill to master and which expert advice is really sabotaging your marriage. Now here's the hard, brutal truth. After helping thousands of couples over the past decade, I've discovered there's a predictable path that every successful marriage recovery follows. And if you don't understand these stages, if you don't master the skill I'm about to teach you, I can guarantee you're gonna stay stuck. You're gonna stay stuck in the hopeless cycle and the risk of losing the woman that you love forever. Now, before I share you the skill in those stages, I have to start with something that most men think really causes them to fail even before even trying. And I call this the unique ego problem, or the U.E.P. Guys often say, let me see if this is familiar to you. They say, my situation is unique. My wife is unique. Our story is unique. What will work for other guys won't work for me. Now, you're right in the fact that every marriage has its own unique story. But here's what I've learned. Saving a marriage is like learning to drive a car. In that, every car looks different, right? Well, most of them do, right? The color, the model, whatever it is. But the fundamental principles that make it work, the steering, the braking, the acceleration, those core skills on how to drive, it's all the same, right? There's foundational skills, because at the end of the day, what causes a woman to stay happy, attracted, and committed to the man that she loves, it always comes down to the same principles and needs. And I found that after working with thousands of cars over the past decade. Now, before I show you the skill and the different stages, let me show you the emotional tipping scale, because this scale is gonna be a tool guiding us through the 5 stages. All right, so this is the emotional tipping scale I created based on Dr. Gottman's work about the magic relationship ratio. At the end of the day, everything external to us, we either go toward or we run away from. You run away from tigers, lions, and bears. You run toward food when you're hungry, and your wife when you want to be with her. However, it's not that simple. There are some people, places, and things that give us mixed emotions. You have given your wife mixed emotions by giving her her needs and the things she wants, and also by causing her emotional pain and making her not feel safe. So here we have the positive side of the scale, here we have the negative. Now, in the beginning of the relationship, things were quite positive, right? The marriage, the kids, the dates. You went into positive perspective, in which she only sees you as a thing that she wants to go toward. You only give her positive emotions. But over the years, through the dismissal, through not following through with your word, watch this one. That one's a heavy one. Through not being conscious with her and trying to solve her problems. What eventually happens is this scale goes from 5 to 1 positive, which is the positive perspective, goes to neutral, and then completely negative, and you are just a complete source of stress. This is when she changes her past around you in the story. This is when she says she hasn't been happy for years because she's emotional and she only sees through the lens of her emotions. And you are a source of negativity and stress. So the goal across these stages is to learn to remove the negative and put them all back into the positive until you're a source of, again, happiness, love, and connection again. All right, so we already alluded to the first stage, which is negative sentiment, which means you are a source of stress, a threat to her. But what's going on inside of you when you know this is happening? With yourself, you are just in panic. You're in free fall. You are constantly ruminating. You can't work, you can't sleep. And this is because your nervous system, your sense of self is just suffering. And this is revealing a completely open wound that's always been there. I remember talking to a client, he said, Josh, you gave me this attachment quiz and yeah, it says I'm anxiously attached, but that's only because my wife is pulling away. And I was like, yeah, man, your attachment style is expressed through stress. Like you show that you're securely attached when she pulls away and you have an appropriate response. So if you're getting anxious that she's pulling away, it is revealing something you have to work on within yourself. And so what a gift. What most men do wrong here that keeps them in stage one and completely just ruins their chances. First one is obsessing over, like if she's texting or calling, looking at her social media posts, her location, just obsessing over her, right? And even if you do it in a sneaky way where she can't notice, it's the energy. I'm telling you, like, I can't fully prove this except for my own anecdotal evidence with hundreds of men in my personal life. But I am telling you, when you are obsessing, it is almost just feeding this energetic monster that is never satiated. It's always more hungry the more you feed it, the more you sneak. So I'm telling you, that is something you must stop doing. Another thing I see with our clients is that they will binge watch the course. Like they will rush through the program like in a couple of 2 weeks. There's a lot of content, okay? A lot of content to go through. And they'll rush through the program thinking that if they just absorb all this information through a video, that that's enough. That they'll finally just get it, right? They're like, oh my gosh, like, okay, I know all the information, now she's gonna come back. You see that anxiety, you see that feeling, you're not really absorbing anything. Now I'll tell you the best way to actually absorb all of this material and to really master the skill to get the fastest results is to set up a call with our team down below and talk to a marriage evaluator. You gotta be fully committed if you're gonna do that. The next mistake is overly apologizing or overly communicating. In this moment, when you're just complete in negativity, right? Negative sentiment, there is nothing you can do in the current moment positively to get her back. I'll tell you what you can do in a second, but by trying to say the magic words to her, it'll always filter through this perception, in the meantime, through negative sentiment and always seeing it as manipulative, even if you made these genuine changes. So there are 4 critical steps that you must do that actually works to get you to stage 2. You must give her full, genuine space. You have to create that space so she comes to you. As much as it hurts, as much as you're possibly saying, like, what if she finds someone else? What if she moves on? What if she truly stops loving me? I am telling you, like, you must just listen to me. The harder thing to do right now is the correct thing to do, okay? Take space.
So I gave her space, but then I didn't give her space. I was still leaving her notes that were, I gave her CLCs, but still leave little notes like at the coffee, like I used to, or look like a note in her car. And it was just pissing her off. But I think it was upsetting her because it was like you say, like they don't trust the change that they see. They think it's just like they're doing this just, as soon as I come around, they're going to quit. And plus she was already involved with the other guy too. She'd been involved with him emotionally, now it's physical. And so that was upsetting her. And, I've been with somebody since high school. So I've been with somebody for 25 years, Yeah. So, but the space wasn't good for me, but now the space is good for me. I enjoy it. I want that space to work on myself and be who I am and not just fill it with unnecessary things in life,
Look, it may be a couple weeks, it may be a couple months, but in that space, she will reach out to you. She will have curiosity. She'll be wondering, like, what the hell is he doing? And she will reach out. And that's the only time you truly respond to her. And when she's talking to you about logistics, by the way, a lot of guys don't realize this. When she's reaching to you about things that she has to talk to you about, she doesn't. She can have someone else talk to you about that. So if she's asking you about the bills, the kids, or something, anything, she actually wants to know that you're still there. So take that as a positive sign. The third thing that you must do in this stage with that space is have that deep self-reflection. You see, if somehow by God's grace, she did come back without you doing this self-reflection, or I wouldn't even say it's God's grace, that's the devil's grace. And you haven't made the changes and she still comes back, and when she leaves you the next time, it's gone for good. It is done for good. So this space is a good thing. You must have a different perspective on the whole relationship, your actions in it, in order for you to actually change and get her back and get a new relationship. Because the fourth component that's tied into the third is taking full ownership, taking radical responsibility for the things that happened. If you are catching yourself, I understand if you are, but if you're catching yourself blaming her, blaming anything outside of yourself, this is all perspective. But if you blame anything outside of yourself, you're not going to get it back. And the reason why is because when you blame things outside of yourself, when you come into that situation, you feel powerless. As much as it hurts now, if you take on everything that it's because of me, I led this, I caused this to happen, as much as that hurts you, guess what? The next time you're in that situation, you're going to say to yourself, I can do something about this. And that is the most important thing. All right, going through the stages enough, what will happen is that curiosity from her, noticing you're not reaching out, just that space in general, will start to have her heal and let go, truly let go of some of the things that you are doing. And notice how I put a bunch of things over here, but it still looks negative, because in stage 2, it still is very negative, but you are doing the groundwork. The roots are going down before the bamboo shoots up. If you know the analogy I'm talking about, you'll start to see little signs that things are improving. Because in this stage, what happens is that she goes from apathy into heavy anger and resentment. And a lot of guys are like, Josh, she's getting worse. Now she's yelling at me. No. If she's yelling at you, if she's unloading on you, she cares. She gives a shit, doesn't she? Imagine she has all this pain stored up in her body by her coming to you and just like say, you were never this, you were never that, you always did this, you never did that. I can even show you a clip from Tony Robbins.
She seems crazy, she'll trust you. And once she trusts you, she'll open to you. When she opens to you, you're gonna feel like a man again, totally alive, and you're gonna be able to heal her heart with your love. And then as soon as you think you got it made, she's gonna test you. She's gonna say something to hurt you. Her job is to try to hurt you. Your job is to show nothing will ever hurt me because I love you. You can fake all you want. You can scream, you can yell, you can smack me. I own your soul and you're never getting away. I will take care of you forever. Or something like that.
The fact that she's doing that means she cares. It is a good sign. And the mistake most guys are making this stage is getting defensive, is getting reactive, failing her test. And then she's like, yep, you never changed. But if you can learn to not take it, have your boundaries. We talk about this on the channel a lot. I'll show you the video at the end of this one about boundaries. But if you learn how to hold that space and allow her to unload, she will start to feel safer with you, which is so important. That is one of the biggest deposits you can do on that scale. Now, a lot of guys, what's happening inside you in this moment is like, how could she be so mean? How could she be so cruel? She's painting me as a man that I am not. Like, I'm not this kind of guy. Look, it's all a test, okay? She's saying that you are this person. If you defend, if you logicize, if you try to change her mind, that just justifies that you are the same person. And a lot of guys in these moments, besides the fixing and the justifying, they'll immediately start to try to go with, like, let's say your wife's in stage 1 with you, and then let's say she moves back in or she's talking to you more, she starts unloading on you, they'll immediately try to like take her on dates or like try to make things better. And that is just the wrong thing to do. You must let her feel safe in your space first. So in these moments, it's similar to stage 1 in that you must continue to take radical responsibility, have a new perspective about her, yourself, and the relationship, understand female psychology. This is everything our course teaches, and it leads to results like this.
I think there's 2 paths here for a lot of guys. Like the first path is you're gonna give up, but you're gonna become a better person because of it. And you're gonna work on yourself. And through working on yourself, you'll learn to just walk away from something that clearly was not in your best interest or someone who's not in your best interest. Or by working on yourself, you'll actually attract that which you want back to, which is your wife in this case, if that's what you choose. And so it became less about her at that point. So I started working out 5 days a week. I got a babysitter in place so that I could take personal time. I got a meal service set up. I got a laundry service set up to help out with all the stuff that I hadn't really helped out with for years. But then I started to do those tasks as well to see what the impact was. Started to become a better dad. Started I lost 40 pounds in 2.5 months. I focused on my kids, focused on myself.
Now, if you do those things successful enough, what will happen is you'll start to really achieve a little bit more balance. It's supposed to be about right here, but let's just keep it right here. This is stage 3. I call it polarity pull. Now, the reason why I call this polarity pull is because, well, she's gonna be in her dual mind narrative, which means she's gonna be extremely back and forth. She's gonna be saying things like, hey, let's go. Yeah, I wanna go on a date Friday. And then she'll be like, you know what? I'm actually done with you. Or she'll say, I think we should date other people. And then she'll have sex with you a couple days later. It is just back and forth, okay? What's going on inside of her is that she has parts of herself, parts of her that still loves you and wants you and sees the hope, and the part of her, her protector, that still thinks you're a threat. And because you're in this back and forth with her, she's gonna go back and forth. The biggest mistake you can make is to listen to the negative side and to react from fear. If she pulls away, if she says it's over, and then you react in your fear reaction, which is like you're anxious or you shut down, you dismiss her, you start dating other women because she said so, it's all a test, okay? She wants you to remain solid in who you are, despite her back and forth nature. Even when things are great with her, this is how women are, okay? This is the testing. They wanna make sure that you are solid in your frame, in your values, in your boundaries. You know who you are as a man. That is what strength is. That is what solidity is. That is what makes you safe. It's like, I know what I want as a man, I know who I am, and that's what I'm gonna go for. And I'm not gonna be attached to the outcome. But in this stage, she's giving you more and more signs. She's accepting your influence. This is one of the biggest symptoms of this stage. Here's an example of accepting your influence. You tell her to go sit down. When you go to a restaurant with your family, you say, hey, sit down in this chair, right? She sits down in the chair. She's accepting your influence. She's following you. You can reach out your hand to have her grab it. If she grabs it, she's accepting your influence, right? You tell her to pick you up a coffee when she goes to the coffee shop. She's accepting your influence. Okay, all these little things are signs that she's following you a little bit. Now, of course, she's gonna test you. I have a whole video on tests on the channel, a massive one that really helps with this. But if she's showing these positive signs, then you're going in the right direction. So show that hope, show that positivity, and keep on going in the same direction. Now, the reason why it's called polarity pull more than anything else is because this is the stage where you really double down on your masculine polarity. So I already alluded to it a little bit, but masculine polarity is all about having your purpose figured out, your strong values as a man, being able to hold your frame with her, not be reactive, know what you want, use humor to her tests. It's the best way to respond to tests. I have a whole humor framework, by the way, in the testing video at the end of this one. You have that calm confidence about you. You are beginning to know who you are more as a man despite her. That is what that positive masculinity that is very attractive. It's called polarity because, like a polar magnet, the more you step into those masculine traits, she cannot help but be drawn to you because of it.
She's so happy around me all the time. She's so like girly, like dancing, singing, like I don't know this woman.
Now again, the biggest mistake before we go to stage 4, the biggest mistake that'll send you back to stage 2 or stage 1 is to listen to when she's in the negative aspect, to take her words seriously. Whatever you feed grows. So when she says those positive things and you believe that's a true part of her, you will feed that, you will reinforce it, it'll become more so. But when she says those things out of fear or testing you, she feels disconnected because she's gonna go back and forth in her emotions as she should, and you respond to that with fear, that is the biggest mistake you can make, okay? You must learn to stay unreactive. Now doing this enough will take you go into projected reality, which is stage 4, which is pretty much the 80-20 of 80 good, 20 bad. When you're in this stage, you have a deeper masculine presence about you. Your energy every day, you have your solid routine. You are good without her. You're closer to God, so to speak, not necessarily religiously, but you are who you are. You feel in your body that you are there's no kinks. There's a solid energy. When you walk into the room, you are clear, you are grounded. People gravitate towards you. You feel this presence about you where these external things happen to you, whether someone's yelling, someone touches you, you are just calm in who you are as a man. You're also, honestly, this is a thought a client shared with me the other day, and it was so powerful. Him and his wife were separated for a couple months, and she's starting to show interest in coming back to him. He said, Josh, I was washing the dishes and I just had this thought, shivered up my spine when I thought it. He said, I've been happier the past 2 months without her than the previous year with her. Now, of course, in the beginning, he was happier with her when they were good, but for the past year, he was good without her for the previous 2 months, better. And I said, that's the reason why she's coming back to you. She feels that in you. Maybe for some of you, this is crazy to even say to yourself, but men at this stage say, even if we didn't work out, I'll be okay. That is so powerful if you can actually get there.
3 months go by, I'm doing this, and she approaches me and wanting to reconcile and tells me all these things about how I'm a changed man, and just shocked that I'm not pretending. I'm just doing what I'm doing. I'm not writing to her of all these changes I'm doing, not doing PLCs anymore. This is who I am now. And obviously she seemed to change. And that's really was that key part though, Josh, was just like letting go. I really had to just let go and embrace that unknown, just fall into the unknown. And that really, I still remember that day.
Now, in this stage, to get to stage 5, this is when you are assertive. This is when you go after what you want. We call this positive dominance, in that you actually make moves towards your wife. You're inviting her on dates, but you're doing so with an attachment to the outcome, in that you only do these things if she says no, that's fine. She's heard her fickle dual mind narrative, that's totally okay. You go after what you want despite what she says. You are also able to predict her needs ahead of time. I had a client, a veteran in our program, he's an amazing guy, coaches other guys in our program. And he said, Josh, the other day, I predictive learning, I filled up her gas because I know she needed it. And I don't even use her car, I just saw she had empty gas. That's an example of this predictive learning where you can actually meet her needs ahead of time. And that shows this attunement and this level of care and concern and compassion and devotion that she strives and yearns for from you. And I would say if anything could skyrocket you to stage 5, now you can have a heart-to-heart with her. A lot of guys try in stage 1, but you sit her down and you just really just tell her the story of everything that happened, taking full responsibility, your desire to make it better and saying that you will, and you have that complete certainty about yourself no matter what, but you're okay if it doesn't work out. That's when the guys tell us and they have those talks, it's just like tears from both people, hugs, making out, intimacy, all that's like, those are those deep conversations that you try to have when she was pulling away, but it was right intention, wrong timing. Now is the time to actually do those things, have those conversations. Now, after you do all that, you're gonna go into stage 5, which is intimacy engagement. This is when not only are you in the relationship you had, but it's even better than it was before because of the new man that you are. And because you're a better man, you're able to lead her to a better relationship because of it.
Sorry. Overwhelmingly good. Overwhelmingly good. Like back to when we were first married and dating. It just incredibly good. We're planning our future.
So we're basically back. The relationship is better, I would think, than it's ever been.
What's happening inside you is this deep sense of peace within yourself. You don't need her validation. You validate yourself completely. And you look back at these previous months and you say, I'm actually glad I went through this. You have gratitude that your wife tried to divorce you. A lot of guys, they have that because she woke me up to the man that I am now. Now, to keep this going, there are some things that you must do. 1, you must continue to take radical responsibility. You must continue to strive to learn to grow, to have a deeper connection to God, or whatever that God is for you, to find things outside of the relationship. Now that you have her back, that is great, that is amazing. But so many men fall back into complacency like you did in the beginning, right? They stop growing as a man. And when you stop growing, the relationship stops growing. And that's what she responds to with the boredom, the lack of love, the lack of polarity. This means you're constantly finding new hobbies. You're constantly finding other programs to develop yourself more. By the way, like I'm going to David Data's teacher training. If you know who David Data is, I talk about his book all the time. And he's doing this polarity teacher training in November. And I'm going to it. I'm super excited. Even though I read all of his stuff so many times, I still want to learn more. You're able to take her to deeper places. Like this is what the feminine craves. This is what she yearns for, is to deepen intimacy more and more and more and more. It is never enough for her. And for you, if you have a wound of like, well, I'm never enough, or have you ever said that to yourself? That is your wound you must fix. Just because she wants more and more and more, it doesn't mean you're not enough. In fact, you should look forward to going deeper with her. Like a lot of immature men, they will go from one relationship to the next. But depth is what you are both searching for. Now, I want to answer a critical question a lot of men have coming towards the end of this video before I show you the 2 other videos on boundaries and tests. A lot of men say, well, Josh, how do I show her these changes if she's not contacting me?
If I do all these potency actions, if I do all these things for myself, how will she see it? She's not here. She's moved out. And then she's moved to Spain. How will she see it? Then now I know the unlock. They will see it. It doesn't matter. You're doing it for yourself, and it doesn't matter if they see it or not. And ultimately, she did see it, right? So that's the beauty of it.
And I'm just going to be honest with you, as honest and authentic as I possibly can. There is nothing you can do to force that showing. She is curious by nature. Just like every woman, she is curious. I don't care if she's even with another man. And so if you take space, genuine space, if you start to focus on yourself, I know it's hurting, but it's going to get better every day. You're going to get better every day. If you really double down on focusing on like, my goal in life is not her. Yeah, she may be a missing puzzle piece, but I'm going to know that if I focus on becoming the man that I'm supposed to be, she will come back. And you have this certainty about it. In our program, it's called the Stockdale Paradox. I'm not going to go into it too much. Basically, the Stockdale Paradox essentially is the idea that no matter what, you know you're going to get her back. You have that faith in yourself, but you don't care how long it will take. And the moment you can truly get there, that's the moment. I've seen it far too many times not to have it happen. Here's the video on boundaries. Here's the video on tests. You can set up our call with the marriage evaluators down below. Just make sure you're fully committed to actually investing in yourself and doing something different. I got you covered, all right? We got your back. Take care. See you in the next one.